Something bad is happening in Oz.
In another video following the instant success of Wicked, I want to take a closer look at the film's MacGuffin, the Grimmery. The ancient spellbook has little to do with Elphaba's overall journey, yet it is the lone object motivating her conflict with the wizard and the people of Oz. According to the film, the Grimmery is an old book detailing thaumaturgy and enchantments. Written in an Ozian language lost to time, only those with unparalleled magical talent can decipher the pages. The spells come with significant consequences, as the exact effects of each spell are unknown until they're cast. If a spell happens to take a heavy toll, such as the flying monkeys experiencing intense pain when receiving their wings, there is no way to reverse a spell. The only loophole and saving grace of the Grimmery is that another spell from the book may counteract another. Due to her natural talent, Elphaba is brought to the Grimmery by Madame Morrible. She later takes the book when she realizes the wizard wants to use its power to hurt the animals of Oz and enhance his power. Throughout the second act of the film, Elphaba will use other spells from the Grimmery to help herself and her loved ones, but they all have adverse effects. Today, I want to discuss the 6 spells from the Grimmery that should appear throughout the film and their impact on the narrative.
To bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
Number 1. The Winged Monkey Spell. The first spell Elphaba attempts after receiving the Grimmery is the Winged Monkey Spell. The wizard manipulates her into casting the spell by telling a story about his general, a monkey named Chistery. The wizard claims that Chistery loves watching the birds, as if their ability to fly is something he admires. Having already learned how to levitate small objects, Elphaba attempts to cast a levitation spell on Chistery from the Grimmery. Technically, the spell does allow Chistery to fly, but in doing so, he is forced to grow a pair of painful wings. The spell also gets out of hand, as Chistery isn't the only monkey afflicted. The wizard's entire army find themselves with wings. When Elphaba realizes how much harm she's caused, she tries to reverse the spell, only to learn that doing so is impossible. The wizard had wanted to make his army fly, believing they would make the perfect spies throughout Oz. When Elphaba realizes she was tricked for his personal gain, she takes the Grimmery and flees from the Emerald City. Despite experiencing debilitating pain not moments before, the flying monkeys are sent to pursue Elphaba, or else their families will face the wizard's wrath. As we know from other iterations of the story, the flying monkeys become the loyal legions for the Wicked Witch. It's likely that Elphaba will convince them that the wizard doesn't deserve their loyalty. While she can't reverse the wing spell, she can convince them that she was tricked into harming them. As Elphaba's primary goal throughout the film is to help the animals of Oz, Chistery and his fellow soldiers have every reason to change their allegiance and help Elphaba stand against the wizard.
She did this! The green one! Don't let her get away!
Number 2. The Broom Levitation Spell. While the spell didn't go as planned the first time, desperate times call for desperate measures. When Elphaba and Glinda attempt to flee from the wizard's guards, they find themselves locked within the palace's highest tower. Their only means of escape from such a high point was destroyed during their initial escape, leaving them backed into a corner. Elphaba, desperate to escape with the Grimmery, turns to the spellbook. She recites the same spell she used on Chistery and the other flying monkeys, willing to accept the painful transformation for her own chance to fly. The spell seems to fail, as Elphaba doesn't sprout a pair of wings. As the palace guards close in, Elphaba and Glinda come to terms with their journey coming to a premature end. At the time, the two witches themselves would do little when they are overpowered by the palace's armed forces. However, at the last second, a broomstick in the room takes flight, coming to Elphaba's aid. It's unclear why the spell impacted the broom and not Elphaba, but the broom carries her to safety. It's possible that Elphaba misspoke the spell, but the Grimmery happened to work in her favor, as the broomstick will become her primary means of navigating Oz moving forward.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Number 3. The Motion Spell. When Elphaba and her sister Nessa Rose arrive at Shiz, they're sent off by their father. Governor Throp has a clear preference for his youngest daughter, who he spoils and protects at every opportunity. Before leaving Nessa to attend Shiz's welcome ceremony, the governor gifts his daughter with a pair of silver slippers. The slippers, adorned in glittering jewels, are meant to remind everyone how special Nessa is, from her head to her toes. The governor wants everyone to know that Nessa isn't lesser than anyone because she uses a wheelchair, and the slippers become one of her prized possessions. Later, after Elphaba becomes a fugitive, she returns to her home asking refuge from the wizard. However, Nessa has since taken their late father's place as the governor and has little desire to assist a known enemy of Oz. Despite growing up with Elphaba, Nessa is quick to turn against her sister. At one point, she becomes furious that Elphaba never used her abilities to help Nessa walk. Compelled to help her sister one last time, Elphaba uses a motion spell from the Grimoire. The spell transforms Nessa's slippers, turning them from silver to ruby. The bewitched shoes help Nessa walk, explaining why she had ruby-red slippers when Dorothy arrives in Oz.
Go with her.
What?
If anything should happen to her.
She'll be fine.
Number 4. The Love Spell. A significant subplot throughout the film is the one-sided romance between Nessa and Boq. In the first part of the film, Boq attempts to ask Glinda to save him a dance, as their classmates planned to spend the evening at the Ozdust Ballroom. Glinda deflects his attempts, claiming that he should ask Nessa to go with him instead. Boq does invite Nessa to go to the ballroom, but only to impress Glinda. While at the event, he tries to come clean about his intentions but can't bring himself to hurt Nessa. After witnessing Glinda and Fiyero kiss, he decides to pursue a relationship with Nessa, which carries into the second part of the film. Nessa realizes that Boq has true feelings for Glinda, which ruins their relationship. She becomes increasingly upset as she believed they were going to have a future together. When Nessa becomes the governor, she makes Boq her servant. When he later admits to loving Glinda, Nessa takes the Grimoire. It seems that an aptitude for magic runs in the Thropp family, as she can also cast spells from its pages. She attempts a love spell that would force Boq to lose his heart to her. However, she mispronounces the incantation, causing Boq's heart to shrink instead.
That perfectly adorable Munchkin boy just asked me out.
Number 5. The Tin Man Transformation. As an inexperienced witch who hasn't studied magic, it's no surprise that Nessa's use of the Grimoire takes a dark turn. As Boq's heart begins to shrink, Elphaba recovers the spellbook to try and save his life. As spells from the book can't be reversed, she has to depend on another to prevent the effects from completely overtaking Boq. Elphaba casts a spell on Boq to make him fall asleep, but he later awakes in the body of the Tin Man. He and Nessa believe that Elphaba transformed him on purpose, when it was really an unfortunate side effect of using the Grimoire. Despite Elphaba saving his life, Boq joins the witch hunt to apprehend her as the Tin Man, becoming one of her adversaries alongside Dorothy.
Did that hurt?
No, it feels wonderful. I've held that axe up for ages.
Goodness.
Number 6. The Scarecrow Transformation. As hinted in the first part of the film, Fiyero is the only person who refuses to paint Elphaba in a negative light. In the near future, he becomes a member of the palace guards, putting him in the unique position to save Elphaba when she is apprehended by her colleagues. Fiyero loves Elphaba and doesn't think twice about helping her escape, even though doing so makes him an enemy of Oz. After helping Elphaba, Fiyero is apprehended by his fellow guards and taken to a nearby cornfield, where he is interrogated for information. In an attempt to save Fiyero's life, Elphaba turns to the Grimoire for a final time. Despite her spellcasting, Elphaba believes Fiyero dies, when he's actually transformed into the Scarecrow. As the Scarecrow, Fiyero will join Dorothy on her journey to stop Elphaba. However, in the final scene where she is supposedly melted by a bucket of water, Fiyero pulls her into a trapdoor, creating the illusion of her death. In the stage production, Fiyero and Elphaba allow everyone to continue believing their deaths so they can flee from Oz together.
I can't even scare a crow. They come from miles around just to eat in my field and laugh in my face.
Wicked is an undeniably fun twist on a classic story. Although The Wizard of Oz is considered a family-friendly adventure, I appreciate that Wicked isn't afraid to delve into the darker side of Oz, including all the harm magic can do when used by the wrong people. Despite Elphaba trying to do the right thing, the Grimoire often twists her intentions, doing more harm than good. It adds to the illusion that she wants to wreak havoc throughout Oz. As such, it was likely for the best that the Grimoire and its spells were formally lost to time. Hopefully, once Glinda receives the Grimoire for safekeeping, its magic will be locked away for good. I've been waiting for that opportunity.
Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Do you really think this is fair?
I do not. I was promised a private.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
What would you do with a brain if you had one?
Do? Why, if I had a brain, I could while away the hours.